I'm curious, what did you know about Jack the Ripper before you started this project?
I knew that no one knows who he was. That was one thing, and nothing more. I've seen some movies
Mhm.
which mention Jack the Ripper or about Jack the Ripper, but nothing more. But during these whole interviewing sessions and the fact checking and meeting the family and so I got to know more and more, and it absolutely made sense as they told me the story. It absolutely made sense that this is the true story, and that guy is really Jack the Ripper. And then I found out why could they hide their identity until now. So it absolutely made sense. And really interestingly, when I advertise this book, many people are coming to me. You are the 10th or the 100th author who says that you know the true and blah blah blah, but this cannot be true. We will never know. But if you read the book, it absolutely makes sense, and there's a whole research behind the book. So it's amazing, I think.
And what does the first book focus on? I think it goes back to, is it 1066?
Yeah, exactly. To the Battle of Hastings, where they are actually they are mentioned in the Hastings tapestries. If you know that, it's a very famous tapestry, and the Dighton
What is the
family is
tapestry
the
called?
Hastings tapestry.
Okay. Yeah, I think I have heard of
Yeah.
that. I'm more familiar with the Bayeux tapestry, but I'm
Hmm.
positive I've heard of the Hastings one too.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah, they have a really rich family history, an amazing family history, and of course, there will be. This is a trilogy, actually.
Mhm.
The first part is from 1066, from the Hastings battle, to the Jack the Ripper story, and then the Jack the Ripper story is the book actually which appeared. I used to make jokes that we are publishing these books like the Star Wars was published. We publish with the middle story,
Mhm.
and then the first one, and then the third one. So
Okay.
so this is, and they are already under verification by Amazon, so they will appear soon, the first and the
Okay.
third book too.
So,
Yeah,
so the trilogy isn't really about Jack the Ripper or about Andrew and Caroline. It's about the Dighton family.
exactly. It's the whole chronicle, the true story, the whole chronicle of the Dighton family, written in a romantic novel style. That was a
Okay.
goal, because they wanted to tell these stories to the world, but I said that, look, if you just write it down as a, I don't know what it's, if you just write it down, it will be too dry, too um, it's like a catalog. It's not okay. So
Yes.
let's make a proper research, and I made a loads of researches about fact checking, historical data. I researched the 19th century English traditions, culture, everything, economical, and every kind of aspect of that century. and
Mhm.
um, and of course the dialogues and everything is fictional, but the spine of the whole story is absolutely true. It's based on
Okay.
their stories. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have I have big questions about that.
Wonderfully redolent drink, perhaps reminiscent of Jack the Ripper's Crimson Harvest.
Yeah, it's really matching to the topic.
That's
Really.
interesting.
Yes,
That's
that's a
very interesting. You can taste the port,
mhm,
but
and the rye,
yeah.
but it's got that nice little bit of additional bitters in the orange in it that gives it that kind of continental
That
kind of
is neat.
flavor as well. I can
Yeah.
imagine people from the 19th century drinking a drink like this as well to kind of be a bit of a meld between an old-fashioned or Manhattan-style drink and claret itself. So I think we're ready for the third reading. Cheers, indeed.
Cheers. You say some stories are too strange to be anything but true. Okay, so I'm told Prince Albert Victor, and I was told this by AI. So as I've
Yeah.
discussed on other programs, AI is not, a crystal ball. You can't trust it 100%. But they gave a very detailed list of proving or showing that he was, at least supposedly, at very specific places documented at the time of each of these murders. So they said he couldn't possibly have committed these murders. And you do address the historical accuracy of this in the back of the book. Could you kind of tell our audience a bit about that?
Yeah. So, of course, in the memory of the family, some dates and some years were different from the historical books, because of course we are talking about many generations who told these stories to the next generations. So yeah, I made a massive historical fact checking actually, and at the end of the book, of course, I'm telling the differences
Right.
on the story. So I'm letting to the reader to decide how these tiny little mistakes could happen in the timeline, you know.
Right.
So actually, I think the family, for example, that Keith's grandfather, called Henry Dighton, on the nickname Togo. Actually, he was officially, when he died, he was 78 years old, but he was 86 years old, because his papers were mistaken or whatever. So you have to know that these traveler families have a really free life, as their motto says, fortune favors the free. And sometimes these official papers and these kind of things are just they just lose it, they just get new ones. So so these kind of things are hard to track back. And that's why I think that's why these historical things are happening, but only a few years. So it's not changing the facts. Actually, the main fact that who was Jack the Ripper, what have they done, how the royal family tried to pursue them, and these kind of things. So these were actually all true.
Okay. I was really glad you put that note at the end, because as I was reading through it, and then going and looking into various things, I was thinking, well, wait a second, is this really a true story, or are you claiming it's a true story for sales or whatever, and so then when I got to the end and I saw that, it made sense, where I could say, okay, this is the family's story, and you're not making it up. I was curious, have you seen this notebook that was given to Keith Dighton at the beginning of the book?
No, I haven't. So actually, the notebook was many pictures were given to him about the family stories, and the notebook is actually so the notebook is an interesting thing, because there existed a notebook. It doesn't exist now, but a new notebook was made by him,
Okay.
based on the Henry Togo's stories. So
Okay.
yeah.
I did
yeah.
want to talk to you about the Apostles Club. Did you dig into the research on that?
On what? Sorry.
The Apostles Club?
No.
Oh, wasn't that in the book that Prince Albert Victor was part of this Apostles Club with 12 members?
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry, not really, not really. Sorry, yeah. I told you I'm a little bit tired right now.
Yeah.
It's all
yeah.
fine.
No.
Yes.
There are, honestly saying, there are some parts in the book which was written. So I worked with two other authors, Hungarian authors, and some parts are their parts. So I cannot really
Okay.
refer to those things. So yeah, it was too big for me to do it alone, you know. And
Right,
actually,
right.
they were my backups when I didn't have time to move forward.
Okay. Yeah, that's a lot of research. I did dig into it, and it did exist. And there's absolutely no record that Prince Albert Victor was ever part of it. But having done so much of my own research, let me give you an example. For a
Yeah.
long time, I think it was Artaxerxes who's mentioned in the Bible, and skeptics said the Bible is wrong because there's no archaeological evidence of Artaxerxes. And again, I think I have the correct name. I could be wrong on the exact name. But eventually, archaeology did turn up evidence of this person and proved it right. So, I understand that although there is no historical evidence that he was ever in this club, that in the book he's said to be, and that doesn't mean he wasn't.
Yeah. Well, you need to understand that the royal family wrote the history. So that's a really important
that's a
aspect.
really important point. Yeah, the victors write
exactly.
the story.
Exactly.
And
so yeah.